I forgot to test my. I forgot to do the test before I got on the air. I'm on the air right now. It's 12:01 p.m. October 31st. It's Halloween today, and it's Pacific time. I'm in California. The topic is about Antifa, and I'm going to explain to you who these people are. And I had met some before, and they made threats to me, and I told the police, I go, they are communists. That's the first thing I said. I told them and when I told the police that, the police replied, they said the same thing about you. And my jaw fell open. I'm like, what? And later on, I'm long after, I mean, we're talking years, years later, I had a discussion with the police and let them know who those people were. I couldn't get a name from them at the time. And I did get the name of them through a spy of mine. I don't want to deal with those people directly. And so I'm more comfortable when I send spies out after them and to get information if I need it. And that's what I did. I sent a spy out to get their name, and that's confidential information who the spies are. Nobody's going to get that information. It's not possible. That information is not available to anyone for their protection and safety, because these people could be dangerous. And they could be like, well, you have spies after us. What are you looking for? And see, if you ask them questions directly to these people, they're usually noticeable in the public when they're protesting. And if you try to ask them questions, they will blow whistles or honk a horn and do distracting things, or get a coffee can with marbles and shake them around and just weird stuff. These people are weird. Back in the early 70s, there were people that were called deadheads, and these were the ones that were fans of the Grateful Dead. Those people were seen out in public, and you could identify them by their craziness. They look like they look psycho. Their eyes look like lost and totally psychedelic, out in oblivion, totally spaced out people, basically. And the thing is, if you left these people alone, they won't bother you. And when they look at you, they just look at you with a really spaced out, freaky look. And just by looking at them when they're not bothering you, it's sometimes scary. And the when I first met them and they made threats on me, they didn't have a name, or I had to find out what their name was, what the name of the group was. And they didn't tell me what the name of the group was, and it was Antifa. And this was from the very get-go. This is when nobody knew who they were. And I tried to tell the police who they were. And the police, like, don't bother us right now. Uh, like looking at me like I'm just a lone wolf or something, that, you know, I'm just a loner and need somebody to talk to. I need to talk to the police or something. They're like, like, kind of like, well, we feel sorry for you that you're, you're by yourself. You're a loner, but we got friends and stuff that we have to associate with, and we're busy, and with our time, kind of like undermining me. And these freaks are very easy for me to tell. They tip themselves off real easy with me. And they don't with other people. When there's somebody that's kind of like not where they're not there, where they're just spaced out, and they want to, when they get aggressive, it gets scary. Okay, well, I know that they're not deadheads, okay? But to me, that's what would describe them the best to me. That was the picture I got when I first met them for the very first time, when other people didn't even know who they were. And this was in Palm Springs. And they kind of left Palm Springs alone. And I'll tell you why. Palm Springs, there's a lot of celebrities, and celebrities do not like to be talked to. Like famous people. And if somebody tries to get attention from people that are spending, like, they spend about $3,000 on a date with somebody. The people, the visitors, people that go to Palm Springs. There is no date where somebody will pay under $300 per person. So the minimum amount of money for a date is somewhere around $600. Nobody goes into some of these restaurants that would only spend $150. If they spend only $150, you probably have police watching you, because that's the same as going into a restaurant and trying to buy a Big Mac for or French fries, or buy something for $10. In that area, it doesn't matter if it's $100. You spend $100, people will be looking at you like you're dirt piss poor. And if you distract them while they're spending thousands of dollars and they're talking and discussing their business with their friends, and you're just out there going blah 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 and talking about politics and Donald Trump, trust me, you would not want to do it. Even if you were not part of a group, even if you were not associated with anybody, just to be an idiot, to you're not somebody that flies from state to state. If you fly with a private jet with somebody, if you had to fly to, there's people that fly back and forth to Vegas from Palm Springs to Vegas. As a matter of fact, one of the people that I saw on the video, I'm not going to say the person's name. They said their name on the video, but I met her before, and she's and people copied the videos, and she's on a lot of people's videos about the Las Vegas massacre. Okay, and she travels back and forth to Vegas, but the people travel when they travel to Vegas. If they take a private jet, they'll spend at least minimal about $1,200 for just for the fuel on the jet, if they were going, because the FAA requires that you cannot be charged only except for fuel if you do not have a commercial license. A commercial license means that you're an airline pilot and that you fly passengers as a business. And if you're just a private pilot, you do not have the option to charge for the flight. You can only charge for the fuel for the fuel that you burn. And you're not going to get a seat for less than $1,200. Now, I could have got a seat on a private jet from somebody I know, a friend that's that has lots of money. I'm not going to say how much money he has. He has a 757. It's a private jet. He also owns a 747. Him owning a plane is no big deal, okay? But I was offered a seat on his airplane for a world tour for free. No charge, no cost, because he's my friend. I know the guy. Okay? That seat, when I did not take the seat was available for somebody else. They grabbed the seat in a snap. That seat cost $38,000. Okay? Now, the friends who I have, Antifa would not want to mess with my friends, because I have other people that are even richer than him that owns the 747 that makes him look like he's piss dirt poor. Okay? So I'm not afraid about talking about you, Antifa. I'm not afraid. I know people in high places. You guys don't have no airplanes. You have no helicopters. You don't fly. You walk like a lizard on the ground, and you slither like a snake in the sand. You're all nothing. You're all just absolutely nothing. There's no I mean, stupid is as stupid does. I mean, there's absolutely nothing to that organization or whatever it is, or if it's a gang or whatever. It's a laughing joke is what it is. It's a total laughing joke. And as far as if I told you who my friends are, you would know who their names were. You would recognize the names. These are renowned names of people that I know, and you would not believe me if I told you. And you would not want to meet these people either. I guarantee it, because they have lots of power. They can, if I wanted all you guys in jail, I could have them. They have so much money, they can make laws where they can, they would just throw you all in jail in some you know, I mean, you guys are lucky that you guys are not in China picking rice at the rice patches. Because if you were not in America, you have no money, okay? You have no money, so you would be picking rice at the rice patches. Life would totally suck for you. The United States is a free country. If you went and did your shenanigans in another country, there were some countries where I went to where I carried firearms on me. And when I was in that country, if people acted stupid, that's all they had to do was act stupid. But I saw, I had to see if they were a sniper, if they had a gun, and if they were going to shoot and kill people. But just for them acting stupid for the way you did, or the way you guys do, in that country, I had the right to shoot them. And there would be no charges on me. That government would already hate me because I'm an American. I'm not going to tell you which country I was in. But they hate Americans. You really want to go to a country where, you know, like you don't like patriots? I'm a patriot. You want to go to a country where they don't like Americans? Why don't you go where I went to? You wouldn't. You would not have the balls to do it, even if you had a gun. You would not be in that country. You would be scared for your life. Oh, help me! I need you know, like you would probably have to cut your foot off just so the Red Cross would come and pick you up and take you to a U.S. embassy so you could get back to the United States. In some situations, it's even worth losing a foot to get into the United States to live here in this free country. You guys don't even know or understand freedom. You know nothing. You don't. But anyway, I was looking at these videos to see how Antifa is acting. And it's disrespectful. It's very disrespectful. Very rude, and every protocol of every definition that has a protocol to it, you're being that. You're being bad, that's a protocol. You're being rude, that's a protocol. You're being stupid, that's a protocol. You're all the protocols. You're from A to Zebra of protocols. It's stupid is as stupid does. And there is no organized message on what the group represents. It's just chaos. It's everything is just Everybody just thinks that everything is helter skelter. You guys are in some fairy bubble, and a total fairy bubble. You don't even know what real life is. Get a real grip of reality. And you know, basically what I noticed, what my stereotype, the stereotype image that I stereotype Antifa to be. So that's going to be my bigot answer on Antifa. My bigot answer, the way I see you guys, are that you guys are really, really stupid. You guys are the ones that turned me into a bigot. I was never a bigot until I saw you guys. It's you guys are a laughing joke. And the way that and the way, okay, my stereotype image of Antifa is this. Antifa does not have any political views. Okay, they say that they're anti-fascist, okay? But the group doesn't even hold any political views. And don't even know what fascism is. That if you don't know your history, how are you going to know what fascism is? I've seen some videos of debates where some historian scholar ran into some of these guys that were into Antifa and made a laughing stock out of you guys. You guys were trying to claim and make claim of history, of what you knew about history. And boy, you guys looked so stupid on the video when I saw it. It was a laughing joke. You guys don't know nothing about history. You guys ain't even about history. Your viewpoint is not a political organization. The stereotype image I see Antifa as is a bunch of vampires. Okay? There's no political position. They don't know what freedom is. They don't know what capitalism is. They don't know what socialism is, or what communism is, or what fascism is. Their mind is not even set in the realm of knowing any history. Vampires don't go by history. You guys are vampires, is what you guys are. And what vampires don't care about anything. What vampires do is they don't care if they vandalize and destroy people's property. Does that sound like you guys? Is that what you guys do? Is you catch things on fire, break things? Because if I could, if I wanted to, I could make it to where some of the people I know in high places will just round all you guys up and throw all of you in prison if you guys don't understand freedom. You don't want to understand freedom? You want to see what communism is? I could put on an act and pretend what communism is, and say, look, we're going to do a social experiment. We're going to just pretend that we're a communist country for 3 days, and we're going to throw all the people in Antifa in prison. That's what a nation is that doesn't practice freedom. Okay, so be lucky that you're not at the rice patches, in the rice paddies, picking rice while there's mosquitoes landing all over you, and you're sweating like and sticky sweat like a salamander, where you're not clean, and the water is filthy. You cannot even imagine what other people go through in other countries. There's people in other countries that are suicidal because they know what freedom is like in the United States, and they are not able to go to the United States. And the people that made it here to the United States, that had a real rough life like that, they are so happy to be here and appreciate freedom. But you guys, Antifa, you guys don't understand any freedom. You don't know what freedom is. You take it for granted. You would not know what freedom is until it's too late. And for the way how vampires work is everything. The way people act is they act like a 3-year-old. And and it's scary when you have a person, an adult, that has the mentality of a 3-year-old. It's like, a vampire, basically. This is how the vampires are. Vampires are a vampire is a lichen. A lichen is a parasite that that is a vampire. A vampire parasite is a lichen, basically. A lichen is somebody. I'll give you an example what a lichen is. Okay, I had a friend, and he liked to give. Okay, he didn't like to take. You ask him to take something, he wouldn't take it. And if he ever asked you for something, it was a total privilege if you were able to help him out, because he would not ask for anybody's help. He was a really good friend, and he saw some homeless people, and he invited them into his house. And they started monitoring him. They started monitoring his phone calls. They wanted to know who his friends were. And these people thought that they were talking about them. Well, his friends might talk about us. He might convince him to throw us out of his house. And they were living, their life was in doubt. Okay, these are lichens. When okay, the difference between a parasite and a lichen is, okay, a parasite is somebody, is a subordinate, basically. A subordinate is somebody that is, in other words, like a child. You have to buy their meals for them. You have to buy their clothes for them. They're if you it depends. There's different levels of parasites. Some parasites will buy their own sandals, will buy their own clothes, but sometimes you have to help them. They can only afford perhaps a sweater, when winter comes along, and then you need to buy them a jacket because the clothing that they're wearing is not satisfiable, and they'll get sick and they don't have the proper covering to keep warm. That's so you have a subordinate basically, and the subordinate is a parasite. A parasite will not make a parasite that lives at somebody's house that doesn't pay rent. They will ask, "Can I use your phone, please?" And they ask all the time, every single time if they need the phone. Can I use your phone, please? And now a lichen is, I need to use your phone. Give me the phone now. I have an important call to make. And you say, no, I can't give you the phone right now. I'm waiting for a call. And they say, give me the phone now. Or if you have if you're using if you have to use the phone and wait for the call, they will sit there and monitor you and monitor your phone call, your conversation while you're talking to your friend. That's a lichen. That's a parasite. That's a vampire. A lichen. A lichen is a parasite that will control the person. It will control the goose that lays the golden egg, basically. A parasite is somebody that they say, well, can I have some water? And they say, you've been keep asking for water. Why don't you have something to eat? It's because a parasite will not ask for something to eat like they owe them something. And I don't think parasites are bad. There's people that are unfortunate in situations where people need help. If people need help, it would be a nice thing to help somebody. But if they're a lichen, here's what the lichens did to my friend. When they were monitoring his phone calls and stuff, they had it to where he could not even get out of his house. He was under house arrest. These homeless people took total advantage of him and controlled him because he let them stay at his house. And basically no good deed goes unpunished, basically. That's the way how it goes. There's a saying. The saying is, no good deed goes unpunished. No good deed goes unpunished. Because if you help somebody, they stab you in the back. Okay? Now what happened to my friend was he died. There are some people now that were suspicious of his death. And they think that those homeless people that he let live with him at his house had something to do with it, that there was some foul play involved. And so there's the way how these that's what the people look like to me when I was watching them on video. the way their behavior was, it was like as if they had no brains. This is the impression I had. They were like a bunch of parasites, basically. People that don't know how to take care of themselves, to take care of their own crap and get through on life. These people are, this isn't an issue about Donald Trump. They don't even care about Donald Trump. And they're saying that their agenda is to get Donald Trump out. They don't even know anything about politics. They're they don't everything is just a game. And like for instance, they're saying that they're going to be out doing their protest and rioting or whatever on November 4th. Okay? Now, then they might cancel it and not even show up. And it's like a Y2K thing. And it's like the Y2K thing is to scare everybody, and then nothing happens. And so the Antifa, you just have to study the way how a vampire operates. If you can study how a vampire operates, you know the modus operandi of somebody. Modus operandi means method of operation, their MO, basically. To know their MO, basically, if you to study how a vampire, how to study a vampire's MO, you're basically going to understand the MO of Antifa, basically. And vampires like wearing the same clothing. That's one thing. You ask, well, are they a vampire? Well, vampires, okay, they do wear the same clothing. They wear hoods over their head. And when they go out and protest, they dress up the same as they did the last time. That shows an indication of them being a vampire. And another indication of a vampire is very self-centered and very very conceited, basically. I'm right, you're wrong. If you don't listen to me, you don't know what you're talking about. And just shut up. They just want a one-way conversation just to say what they believe, and they have nothing to say. And then they say, okay, well, what do you got to say? And it's just blah, 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 blah. It's about nothing. No purpose. Nothing organized. If they were organized and everything, where's their jets? Where's their helicopters? Where's you know, I mean, the proof is already there. Just imagine, okay, a vampire, just imagine an adult that, imagine a 3-year-old that becomes an adult. Somehow, a 3-year-old wakes up, and he wakes up as a full-grown adult. Now he goes out on the streets and he doesn't he doesn't. He just knows the same thing what a 3-year-old would know. And what do 3-year-olds do? They throw things. They have a temper tantrum, and they throw their toys across the living room floor. And they say, "Mommy, I want some ice cream. I want some ice cream. Now, Mommy, give me some ice cream." And see, this 3-year-old grows up as an adult. And if the brain doesn't change, where they have to go to somebody and say, that they have a gun, give me your money, or whatever. It's the same thing as a 3-year-old asking their mother for some ice cream. I want some ice cream now. And see, the person, they think they're all cool and bad and whatever, that they have these demands to control people. But in reality, the person asking for money, or a full-grown adult asking, I want something and I want it now, give it to me. It's brain damage is what it is. The brain damage is because if you compare the adult, he wants to be I've had people that were demanding things off of me. Basically they were robbing me. And so I went out and told everybody, these guys want me to adopt them. They want me to be their daddy. And they're like, F you. You're such a bigot. And so, I mean, I had to say it like that, because in reality, that's what it was. They're not old enough. They don't know how to get a job. I mean, look at the real situation here. They got brain damage. They're the same as the 3-year-old, because the 3-year-old will throw things around. And you can't, if daddy leaves the house, the 3-year-old might end up sneaking into the garage, and then there's going to be spray paint all over the house, graffiti. The same thing that happens with these adults. They have brain damage. Brain damage. And they take drugs. They do drugs. As a matter of fact, that's why they put the graffiti on the walls. It signals their gang, where they are supplying drugs and using drugs, frying their brain out. And their brain is fried out, like where it's the mentality of a 3-year-old. And so you can't argue with these people. If you argue with these people in Antifa, it's the same thing as arguing with a 3-year-old. How did I figure all this out? You guys might be questioning me. How do you know all this? Well, I believe the answer is, I have a friend who is a psychologist. He's not a professional psychologist. He learns psychology at home. He does it on his leisure time. He wanted to learn psychology as a hobby or something, but he's very smart. And he explained a lot to me how people's minds think and operate. And I am convinced that my stereotype image of what these people in Antifa are is correct. I'm like totally convinced of it. And so when we look at, I was looking at the police officers, how the police officers were reacting to the protesters. I was trying to see what was going through their mind. And what I've noticed is that the police were acting the same as they always do, even if they weren't there. But they act different because there's a large group of people. It's not who the people are. It's just when there's people in large numbers, no matter who the people are. If there's people that are grouping up on the street, naturally you're going to have police, and the police are going to be acting like the way how they do. And so basically, when police have to babysit society, is basically no matter who the people are. And so law enforcement doesn't know me. They don't know Antifa. Everybody's a stranger to a cop or to the police. Who am I? I'm nobody different. And so when they see somebody they don't know, they act the same way they do. And so I don't think that Antifa is that they're terrorists. But if they did terrorize, that would make them a terrorist. But a terrorist is somebody that claims to have political views. They are making claims of political views. They're saying anti-fascism. That's a political mindset. Due to the fact that they have a political mindset for their agenda, even though they don't have one, even though they're stupid and don't even know what these agendas are, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know. Their mind is like a 3-year-old basically, but they're still making the claim. And terrorists are also weird. Their brain doesn't function right, and they have their religious views and their political views, but they don't know anything. They're real stupid a terrorist is real stupid when it comes to politics. He doesn't know anything about politics, but because he has an agenda about politics, that makes him a terrorist. If he goes out and uses force by doing, the damage, by going out and harming people and vandalizing by their political viewpoint. Since Antifa has a political viewpoint, they are under that they're under that black cloud. That's why they're being labeled as a terrorist. And they should not even named themselves Antifa. That was real stupid. Because now they hold a political agenda for the cause that they do, even though that they don't have one, even though they're stupid and retarded and don't have a view. They should not have made claim to a political position, because by definition, a terrorist has to hold a political viewpoint to support in order to be a terrorist. If there is no political agenda for the person that's causing harm, it's not terrorism. But because they've done that through their stupidity, they've made themselves a sitting duck to get all of their asses thrown into prison. And believe me, you guys, Antifa, I do have friends in high places. You don't know. It would melt the fillings out of your buck teeth if you really understood how much power I got. So get stupid and act like a bunch of vampires and 3-year-olds and start honking horns and doing a bunch of weird, distracting, stupid stuff. And make some threats to me. And I will have all you guys rounded up and thrown into prison. Because you will be at large at first. And I will work on the statutes at large. When you're at large, I will be working I could have my friends help me work with the Ninth Circuit of the Supreme Court to get this all legislated in writing. I will help produce the law on what is happening to get it all into the government. And I'm sure that's already being processed, that you guys are already being labeled as terrorists. So I had no part of it, okay? But you guys are really messing up. You guys are really getting yourself in hot water. And it's no joke. And what's really stupid, everybody around the world knows a person that supports freedom is somebody not to mess with. You can't control Americans. Everybody around the world knows that. Like for instance, the gun control laws. You're not going to be able to take away the guns from people that support freedom. You would have to have people try to brainwash people that freedom, that they would need security, give up their freedom for security, or try to give them something, saying, you know what, if you want, try to convince them and brainwash them and whitewash them, that if they don't have their freedom anymore, that they can be guaranteed security by the government if they're willing to give up their freedom. And you find out the reaction, how they're going to react. It's not going to be a good one. Because people will fight tooth and nail for their freedom. I guarantee it 100%. That's like the worst thing to do. That's like going up to a lion out in the woods and challenging it. I was out at a picnic table one time, and there was a family, and they had they had a big, huge ham, and they had turkey and Thanksgiving. And I walked up. I didn't know where I was at, and some guy says, "This food better be here untouched. That it don't belong to you." So he goes, "You just might as well scatter and leave now, because when we come back, we will know what happened." So what happened was a mountain lion came, and I was only 5 feet away from the mountain lion, and the mountain lion is sitting there chewing up the food, and I'm just sitting there watching it. And they came back to the table, and they said, "What? Can you get your pet out of here now? I go, that is not my pet. That is a wild animal. It's a mountain lion. It's a cougar. He goes, then why are you standing there just watching it? I go, I think it looks pretty. It's a cute animal. And he pulls out a gun, and I said, you know what? This mountain lion has more rights over this land because it's this mountain lion's land, not yours. Because I'm an animal's right activist, basically. I believe that animals should have their rights. And there were other situations where I'd stop people from shooting at lions because they have their gun. That is so coward that somebody would just pull their gun out and kill an animal when the animal is just innocent. And it's there. It has to survive. The animal has to survive. It has to make a living. What makes the animal different than from us? And we just have to be able to respect. We have to respect humans also. If a person can't respect an animal, they probably don't respect humans either. And people are just vampires, and what vampires do is they just sit there and hate. Everything is just about hate. There is no you can't make a vampire not hate you. That's not what a vampire does. That's not the way they operate. They hate police. They hate the president of the United States. They hate patriots. They hate Americans. They hate America. They hate the American flag. They hate. They're vampires. Vampires. That's all. That's what they are. They're vampires. That's the MO of a vampire. That's what they are. They're vampires. They're not political, but they screwed up and set themselves up as a political faction. Now they're labeled as terrorists because it's actually, in writing through jurisprudence, what they have written down, that they are an anti-fascist group supporting a political agenda for what their cause is, even though they ain't, but they're making the claim. That's all that matters. They're making the claim. And that was a mistake for them. And now it's under sui juris law that they are terrorists. Not just jurisprudence, but sui juris. Sui juris, I mean the Supreme Court. Okay? Do you Antifa still want to mess with me? It's not to your advantage now. It's written in the books. It's written in the law books now. You want to do something with and deal with the law of the land, the way how laws work. You guys you don't understand law, or of course you're gonna have an attorney. You have the right to an attorney. It ain't gonna do much for you though, because the attorney is gonna see that the jurisprudence is under sui juris law of the Supreme Court. And it's under sui juris. It's not the court system is not under the executive branch of the government. The sui juris is its own branch. Okay? So you want to still try to fight it and argue. You're going to have to like blow whistles and bells and horns. You're going to do that in court to the judge while your appointed attorney is trying to defend your case. You're going to be blowing a whistle or a horn, going or the attorney's going to say, "Well, these guys don't know anything. They and the judge ain't going to hear it because the people from Antifa are going to be going, oh, whoa, 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 oh, whoa, 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 boo, 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 ah." And the attorney's going to say, "Shut up, I'm trying to defend your case." Well, the person is going to be too stupid because they got brain damage. They can't do anything. Once the brain goes, the rest of everything goes with it. And you know, if they keep it up, they might end up in Guam. Maybe the laws are where they just ship them over to Guam, where they have to have rice imported from China, where they're not going to be able to get a job, where they're going to have to figure out how to work out a living with the rice imports in Guam. It's hell there. It's the worst place to be in the world. And maybe that's what I ought to do if you guys piss me off. Piss me off, and I will legislate some laws where you guys all get shipped out to Guam. Make it a law if you burn the American flag that none of the freedom of the flag will be any longer protecting that person. When they burn the flag, they're burning all their rights, all their human rights with it. Because just like I said, just go out to another country and do that. You won't. You won't do what I did, where I had to go in other countries and do what I did, where I had to defend my freedom and for the freedom of the United States. And the United States doesn't want communism taking over. So when communism starts taking effect, the United States goes to war with that country to make changes. That was my purpose in that country. I was a spy in that country. And then my purpose was to figure out where the targets would be for the F-15s to hit their targets, where the targets would be. I had to give the information to the CIA, basically. Okay, that was my job. And risking my life, and I could shoot anybody I wanted. Okay, if anybody got stupid with me, just bam. Because they guarantee they give you that immunity when you go into another country, because the deal is they promise you that you will get back to the United States, because they know that you're a dead man if you go to that country and you don't have immunity. You have diplomatic immunity when you do stuff like that in another country. You try being in another country and do what you guys are doing. Okay? I can't believe how ignorant people are. And America has, you know, things are the way how stupid people are in society now. I basically feel like a genius. And before any of this, I I was a nobody. I was just a fly on the wall. And now, now I'm a big shot. I got a bunch of stories to tell about my freedom. Before when you fought for your freedom, it wasn't a parade. It wasn't like something where people would say, "Oh well, how should we make a parade for you and celebrate a party?" You didn't do something um, to benefit and like get yourself to make yourself somebody to be in the highlights, to play bigger than your game. You fought for your freedom because you know the value of freedom, like I did. I know freedom, and I was a fly on the wall. I was a nobody because everybody else fought for their freedom also, because you're supposed to. It's a natural thing to fight for your freedom. Now it's more, you guys are actually helping the patriots out, for the patriots to boast about freedom and making us bigger and you, Antifa, smaller. You're getting smaller and smaller and smaller from stupidity. Stupidity. Wake up. Wake up and smell the toast. Wake up and smell the coffee. Wake up and smell the bacon. Wake up. I don't know what else to say. I turn these lights on. These lights are shining in my face. These lights are pretty bright. Um, I and that's the first time I did it because I wanted to make sure that I had, a good video here. I wanted to do a good broadcast, so I really think that this broadcast is important, and I I thank everybody, for my viewers, for watching me. And this is Douglas Cropek. This is live right now, 1:08 p.m. Tuesday, October 31st, Halloween. The year is 2017. Thank you for watching, and I just hope everything works out. I just hope I got through. I hope I got the message through. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Happy Halloween. Okay, I'm signing off right now.